All right, I want to thank all of you for coming out here. Try to come in if you can. I know some of you are literally standing out in the cold. And so a lot of folks are from the Antelope Valley here. Thank you for coming out. A lot of people are from the district. Thank you for coming out. Some folks have come in from far away. I want to thank you for coming out as well. We were canvassing in Lancaster today, and one of the folks is from San Diego. So thank you for joining.
Victorville.
Victorville?
Yes.
Oh, I love it. And so they say, you know, Jake, it's not fair. You have too many supporters from across the country. Damn right I do. Saying, hey, your followers appear to be too strong. Damn right they are. Yeah. That's right. Now, and look, my opponent's saying that, I get it, right? It's a cheap talking point. And by the way, my opponents have also done events here and had nowhere near the size of a crowd from the district. And so they're trying to pretend that they have more support here. And now, why are they pretending? What difference does it make? How does it affect the votes? The one thing that it affects is the media, okay? And so the media has bought into a lot of that stuff. And what's amazing, though, and it's also a little disheartening, to be honest, is that they never ask the question, okay, but what about all these politicians who we constantly cater to, respect, quote, that are in power, and we just take whatever they say and we write it down? Where are their donors? Where are their supporters? And who are they? And so some of them have real supporters, and that's great, and the ones that are better motivate a lot of people. And there's some wonderful folks in politics. Coming through the parking lot, I knew it was the right place because it was filled with Bernie bumpers. So, but look at that, right? So here's a guy who's had the same positions for 40, 45 years now, who's been fighting for and carrying us on his shoulders this entire movement. Who is clearly, whether you agree or disagree with him, the one honest politician, right? And so, and by the way, I run into folks who don't agree with Bernie, but if you ask them, do you think Bernie's honest? They're like, oh yeah, I mean, he's obviously honest, right? And what do? Attack him time after time after time. And so what do they do about the rest of the politicians that take corporate donor money and lobbyist money? They support them. The media never asks, hey, wait a minute, what a lobbyist? I mean, guys, a lobbyist gives you money. Why on God's green earth is he giving it to you? Now, every single actual human being knows that when a lobbyist gives you money, it's to buy you. Everybody knows that. Just think about it for a second. I keep saying it because I'm so amazed by it. How could you be in the media covering politics and never write about that? Never talk about that. Isn't that amazing? It is the #1 factor in politics, money. The corporate donors, the lobbyists. By the way, if you want to talk about union donors, fine, talk about the unions. Talk about special interests. Okay, I don't take union money. That doesn't mean I'm against the unions. But when I vote with the unions, I want you to know it's because I meant it, not because they bought me. Woo! In media, it should be almost the only thing they write about. So, for example, why am I doing this? Why have I done all the things that I've done in the last 10 years? Because I did a news show. And in the news, every day when I broke down the news and I analyzed it, what would I come up with? Logically, I would come up with, oh my God, it turns out it's the money, Lebowski. It's the money every time. Now, in the old days, before Bernie's run in 2016, if you didn't have more money, you almost certainly lost. The stat was, at the national level, 95% of the time, the person with more money won. Now, look, think about that. This because it's really interesting. It didn't matter whether you were a Republican or a Democrat. It didn't matter whether you were a liberal or conservative. The only thing that mattered was which candidate has more money. And 19 out of 20 times, the one with more money won. Now, over the last 5 years or so, that dynamic has begun to change. And obviously, there's a famous example. She goes by 3 letters. So AOC was outspent 20-1, and she won anyway. And the New York Times and almost all the rest of the media treated her with disdain. They said, "Oh, Joe Crowley, he's the number 4 Democrat." And it's, but look, if you're someone who's trying to get power with the Democratic Party, I get why you might want to kiss Crowley's ass, okay? But if you're in the media, what is your motivation?
Money, power.
So why would you want to? Isn't that an interesting story? They've got this young Latino woman supported by these upstart groups, and it turns out there's a lot of buzz, and she does this amazing job in these debates, and it looks like she's killing them, right, in the debates. And you'd think that would arouse some interest. Nope. It's got Crowley. But why do you work for the guy? Why do you work for the guy? And then they turn around, and then after she wins, she's not coming on our shows enough. And by the way, a lot of people in the media came up to me and said, "Can you get her on our show? She's not coming on our shows enough." And I said it on CNN. I said, "I don't remember you guys asking her to be on when she was running. I don't remember that at all." Yep. Now, you guys know we had her on 34 times, more than the rest of the media combined. We featured her in 34 videos. Emma Vigeland literally went to her house, and this is when everyone in the world thought she had no chance at all, okay? But we believed. Now, that's the main thing that I want to talk to you about here, okay? But I'm going to get back to that in a second. But, so I'm doing the show, and I see that people with more money win almost every time in the past. But then you look at the legislation, and almost every time, in fact, every single time, whichever side has more money wins. So we said, wait a minute, now progressives won some battles, not a lot, but some. Honestly, in those battles, we had more money. So we won a lot of great battles in the LGBTQ plus community, and I'm super proud of that. And I pushed the Democratic Party to get way, way earlier than they did. There's another guy who pushed them to get into that fight all the way back in the 1970s. His name is Bernie Sanders. Yeah. I mean, look at the corporate media. My God. They went and gave Joe Biden so much credit in 2013 for coming out in favor of gay marriage. Oh, he pushed Barack Obama to be in favor of gay marriage. What an unbelievably brave man in the year, goddamn it, 2013? In the year 2013, you just came around to gay marriage? I saw the other day an old picture of Bernie Sanders in front of a sign in favor of gay marriage in the year 1983. Wow. Yeah. Giving a speech saying, these are our fellow Americans, and we're going to fight for them. Okay, the corporate media says, well, he's not good enough, but the guys who came around in 2013 are wonderful. So, Jesus, what is going on? The level of dishonesty, unfortunately, is through the roof. Look, on the AOC example, so as soon as she won, they turn around and say, oh, yeah, the whole time we wanted you on the air. Yeah, but, we just didn't get to it. Look at this race now, right? So in this race, I've gotten pretty much nothing but negative coverage. A little bit here and there, and things are turning around a little bit, but not much. But did it never occur to any of these so-called reporters to ask, hey, why are all these people in this room? How the hell did they get here, right? Why does Cenk have 31,000 donations from across the country? I'm criticizing him for having too many donations across the country. But did it never occur to you, just intellectual curiosity, gee, I wonder why they're doing that. I wonder why the Young Turks have 50 million unique viewers every month, right? And I wonder why people and activists in the LGBTQ community love these guys. I wonder why African American activists love this show. I wonder why Latino activists and Latina and Latinx activists love this show, why activists for the homeless love this show, why all these progressives love this show. I mean, I'm not asking you to love the show, I'm not asking you to like me, but if you're a reporter, I'm asking you a simple question. Did it just have some curiosity, right? You know, it's funny, they get worse as they get older. The Ferris article written about me was written by the Daily Pennsylvania. So I went to Penn, that's my college paper. And so they were not kind to me. They weren't like, hey, laudatory, hey, Cenk Wayne here, etc. No, because it was right in the beginning when I got blasted with the character assassination. So they went and asked that, but then they went on campus and said, hey, anybody like Cenk? And I mean, that's it. It's just that simple. And a lot of people raised their hands like, yeah, I love what he's doing. And they said, why? And then they printed it. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Right? Look at this room filled with all of these great folks. Come and ask us. Come and ask us. Because it isn't about me. It's about the movement. It's about why you guys are here. And so, you know, as I did all these things, I realized it's the money that's driving it. I'll say one last example. So they say, hey, you know, we went on net neutrality, although now that's been reversed under Trump. And Obama got 4 million letters, and he did, 4 million letters saying be in favor of neutrality, and that's why Obama said would protect net neutrality. Okay, let's be honest. That's not what happened. So he did get 4 million letters, and he kept them in his desk. Okay? 2 weeks after Google and Facebook came out publicly and said, all right, fine, we're for net neutrality. And it was a close call for them, because net neutrality does protect them, but on the other hand, if net neutrality isn't around, their competition could be wiped out because they're not big enough. So they waited and thought about it a long time, and together they came out and said, yes, we're for net neutrality. Now at that point, Obama no longer had the bankers as his top donors. Now big tech was his top donors. 2 weeks later, he's like, oh my God, look at these 4 million letters I found. And he said that he came out for net neutrality. But why? Because the reality is, in that issue, we had more money, okay? It's the money, it's the money. That's why I started Wolfpack, to get money out of politics. And they say, Cenk, getting an amendment is way too hard. I know, but we've gotten it in 5 states, and we've got 45,000 volunteers across the country, and it's and it's our leader in West Virginia, for example, is a cook. He works at like usually 2 or 3 different jobs, including IHOP. Okay, so it's not a cook like, you know, Wolfgang Puck or anything like that. No, he's cooking at IHOP. And then when he has time, where he's not working his 2-3 jobs, he goes to the State House all the time, and they know him as Wolfpack Saffel. Okay, and so it's Richard Saffel. It's a real guy. It's a real guy. They're all real guys. The leaders of Wolfpack. I mean, if you think our cars in the parking lot, as Ida said at TYT suck. Okay, they're no fancy cars, right? You should see the poor Wolfpack guys. One of them is still driving my old Pontiac Grand Am. Okay, and so that I was gonna say I bought, but really my dad bought it back in 2001. Okay, and so they got no money, but you know what they have? They have hope. They have hope. Okay, and so again, I'm gonna get back to that in 1 second. But I started Wolfpack knowing how hard it is to get citizens across the country to fight to get money out of politics when we got no money, we got no media support other than Young Turks, we got no one in power supporting us. Oftentimes, Democratic leadership will call into state houses and say, "Don't pass that," because a constitutional convention is dangerous. They say it could bring about real change. Yeah, that's the point. Yes, that's the point. Okay, but if you're based all of your power on money, well, you don't want that. Nancy Pelosi recently bragged to the New York Times that she has brought in $728 million. Wow. That is $728 million in bribes.
Woo!
So now, look, it makes people uncomfortable. And they say, Cenk, you're rude, don't say that. But I think it's a lot more rude to take the bribes.
Yeah.
And so...
Woo!
And her biggest defenders are not other Democrats. It's people in the media. When I said that on Twitter, Paul Krugman attacked me and said it was vile. It was Trump-like. So wait, but it's vile to say something that everyone on the planet knows? I mean, look, when I go knock on doors and I talk to folks and I ask them, do you think that ExxonMobil gives to politicians for charity? I have yet to find one actual human being who has said yes. No, everyone knows ExxonMobil gives to politicians to buy them. It is a bribe. We just legalized the bribe through Citizens United and other Supreme Court decisions. So now if ExxonMobil is a bribe, isn't the insurance companies also a bribe?
Of course they are.
Aren't the drug companies also a bribe? Aren't all the companies and all the lobbyists, in fact, bribing all of our politicians? Yes. Yes. I don't care how much the media wants to manufacture consent. I don't care how much propaganda they want to do. Yes, Fox News brainwashes people into being right-wingers, and I've seen it happen with my own eyes. But honestly, the CNNs, the New York Times, etc., are brainwashing people into compliance.
Yes.
So that brings me to here. So I started Wolfpack to fight money out of, get money out of politics. I helped co-found Justice Democrats to be the progressive wing of the Democratic Party. But why did I do that? Because on one of the worst nights in American history, that cold, dark night in November of 2016, when Donald Trump won the presidency, a lot of people were really, really sad, and I get that, and I saw people crying, and I get that, but not me. I had two different emotions. One was anger. And so was I angry at Donald Trump? Of course, the guy's a monster. We don't have to go through all of it. You know, you all know it. And it's not, in the media, no, it's not 50-50, okay? I don't need a Trump supporter to come on my air and justify his horrific actions. No, he's not just a monster, he's an idiot. He's one of the dumbest guys who's ever held public office. He has no empathy, he's a sociopath. He's a dictator wannabe, okay? So, but I wasn't just angry at Donald Trump. I was angry at Democratic leadership. Jesus, they just lost to this buffoon. Not only did they lose to a monster, a man who was clearly racist, bigoted, sexist, who was a serial sexual harasser, serial sexual assaulter of women. Not only did they lose to that guy, they lost to a guy who thinks wind causes cancer. A guy who's been hiding his not only college grades, but his high school grades for all of his life and threatening to sue and even arrest anyone who would find out how stupid he is. How do you lose to that guy? How do you lose to that guy? But it's not just Donald Trump. In that night, I gave you guys a stat, and anybody who was watching. At that point, the Democratic Party in the last 10 years had lost 1,000 seats at the local, state, and federal level to the Republicans. A Republican Party that demographically is almost decimated, is on its last legs. A party that is soaked in corruption. If we're worried about Democratic corruption, we're worried that at its height, maybe it affects 75% of the Democratic Party. We're worried to death about it. That's why we're here in the middle of the night, in the middle of the desert, in a sense, right? Fighting to make sure that we can get it back and get our government and our democracy back. But the Republican Party is 100% corrupt at the national level. 100%. Yet they lost 1,000 seats to them. And at that point, 69 out of the 99 state legislatures were held by Republicans. Jesus Christ. What a record of failure and incompetence.
Yes.
And yet, did the media say that? No. Did the media say we had the wrong candidate? Did they say that, hey, she took corporate money and people didn't like that? Did they say the Democrats lost 1,000 seats? No, they never said it. They never said it. And so I was angry, but I was angry most, again, at the Democratic leadership that had given us that result. Now, how do you beat Republicans? It's actually really, really simple. So right now I'm in a race against Steve Knight. There's a lot of other people in the race, but Steve Knight used to be the congressman from this district, and he's in this race. Yes, indeed. So Steve Knight is a lot of bad things. He tried to destroy Obamacare. He voted against it so that people would have less health care. okay? And I can go on, and he's anti-choice, and that is hateful of women and their rights. But Steve Knight is also corrupt. And so here we have the biggest gas leak in American history at Aliso Canyon. And when that happened, Steve Knight jumped out to the defense of the facility that did the gas leak. He did not jump out to the defense of his own voters. Why? The parent company is a company called Sempra. And I looked it up. I had to look it up because almost no one covered it. It turns out Sempra has given Steve Knight $16,000. Now, if it's me versus him in the runoff, if that's the situation, I am going to pound him on that.
Yes.
I'm going to say this is the son of a bitch
Yes.
that took
Yes.
$16,000. That took $16,000 in bribes and sold you out. The worst gas leak in American history endangered all of your lives and made you sick. And he says, no, I don't care about you. I don't care about you. I care about my corporate donors. He came out and did a public statement defending them. Boeing got radioactive material in Simi Valley, been leaking it into the water, will not clean it up. I can go on and on about that. Steve Knight, you know what he did about it in Congress? Defended Boeing. You want to know why? Took $20,000 from Boeing. Okay, these guys are criminals.
Yes,
They're crooks.
Right.
They take bribes for a living. So how do you lose to these bumbling fools, these monsters, corrupt crooks? Well, you unilaterally disarm. You give away the thing that could help you beat Republicans the best, pointing at corruption. Why? Because then somebody would tell them, other folks and their voters, you're also taking corporate contributions.
Got all the same.
So the other Democrat in this race that the media loves, and apparently they found 10 people in Santa Clarita who also like her. I know, because it's the same 10 people who are quoted every time. And apparently none of you count. There's only 10 people in the district, okay? And half of them work for her. So anyway, she took $1,500 from United Health Group. United Health Group is the largest company in the world, currently sued by the federal government in the state of California because they denied patients care who had mental health issues and addiction. Do you want to know why they denied them that? To save money.
Of course.
You know why? Because I'm going to tell you the most obvious thing in the world that you never hear in the media. Because corporations must maximize profit.
Of course, yes.
That's the most obvious thing. Of course they're going to maximize profit. If you're a health insurance company, how do you maximize profit? Well, you sign up a lot of folks. You charge them as much as humanly possible. That's you guys, okay? And then you have as little cost as possible. That's how profit works, okay? Maximize revenue, minimize cost. What is cost? Healthcare. So deny as much healthcare as you possibly can, and if people die, who cares? You maximize profit. And yet, almost everyone in the media defends this system. Look at the grotesque corruption. So now, Chrissy takes $1,500 from United Health Group, and lo and behold, look at that. She's against Medicare for all. She says, no, we shouldn't do that. We should do a public option. Now, under a public option, you do not have universal health care coverage. You don't. You have to pay a premium, a copay, a deductible, okay? And it's the same exact system. It keeps private insurers in business. It keeps them in power. And when I ask her, might that have something to do with the fact that insurance companies are giving you money? No, how dare you? Now, look, her saying that, I get it, right? She doesn't have a wide base of support. She finances her campaign, corporations and other Democrats who take corporate bribes, okay? But the media, what is your motivation? What is your did it never occur to you that maybe the biggest insurance company in the world gave money to a politician because they wanted her to vote with them? Did that never occur to you? Did it never occur to you to ask about that? So I'm asking her to give it back. Of course she won't, right? And she says, oh, no, I don't, for example, I don't take fossil fuel money. That's great, that's wonderful, I like that. She says, I don't take money from gun manufacturers. Well, okay, the 1990s, thanks. Nice of you to join us, okay, several decades later. There's one other industry she doesn't take money from, big tobacco. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot one. The horse and buggy industry. Okay. But if you agree that you shouldn't take money from big tobacco and gun manufacturers and fossil fuel companies, wait, why shouldn't you take money from them? Because it's corrupting. So then, how is it okay to take money from all of the other companies, including insurance companies and including real estate? So she took over $10,000 from real estate PACs and real estate interest. You guys are going to be shocked to find out, as an assembly, she voted against rent caps. So why do we have so much homelessness? Because the rent in LA and in this district is totally unaffordable. People come to this district because the rent in LA and other parts of LA are so unaffordable, and now it's gotten completely unaffordable here. And homelessness is totally out of control. Meanwhile, she's voting against rent caps and saying, trust me, I genuinely don't want affordable housing. It's not because the real estate interest gave me money. Well, I don't trust you. That's not how it works. And you trust her. Because it's not about her, guys. It's not at all personal. I know people think it's personal. She probably thinks it's personal. I don't know her from Adam. It's not at all personal. No, and it isn't about her. I don't want her taking the money. I don't want Steve Knight taking the money. I don't want Mother Teresa taking the money. Because it's corrupting. That is the whole point of the money, is to corrupt. It's not for charity. It's not for our health. Okay. So finally, I come back to the thing that I've been telling you about the whole night, that I'm going to come back to. So right here in this room, we have the most dangerous thing in the world. And they know it, and that's why they're scared. We have hope.
Woo!
So Brian Grimm wrote this great book. It's called We've Got People, and it's actually a line from AOC. She said, they've got money, we've got people, okay? And here you are, by the way. And here you are all across the country, because we now have over 2,000 volunteers. We were hoping to get 25,000 calls this weekend from our volunteers from everywhere. And we're already at 40,000? Woo! All right, and now 30,000? What is it? I want to get it right.
I think it's 35 now.
35,000. Okay. That's in just one day. Okay, we were supposed to get it in 2 days. That's in just one day. By the way, keep going. Jenk2020.com/call for everybody out there. Okay, and we're canvassing, so please do that with us, all of you here and everybody at home. Jenk2020.com/door for knocking on doors. Okay, /door. We're going to canvass all throughout the district tomorrow and every day going forward. Okay, so we've got people, and so why are you all here, right? Is it again, if you're the media, I don't know if you've got any curiosity at all, and if you don't, I don't know why you're in that job, right? But does it make you wonder, why are we all here? Why are we all volunteering? Other campaigns do paid canvassers because not enough people volunteer for them, right? So we're here because we believe. We believe that there is a possibility that we could have change. Now, guys, you're right to believe. I'm here to tell you, and that's why they can't stand me. It's true. Hope is real. Now, of all the years and all the times, 2020, I swear to you, is the most important. And if you watch the Young Turks a long time, you'll know that I earned credibility on this. Because there was many elections where everybody said this is the most important election, and I said no. Bill Clinton, Bob Dole, this is pre-Young Turks. Not the most important. I remember at the time thinking, these guys are pretty similar, right? Like a lot of huffing and puffing, but at the end of the day, tax cuts for the rich, deregulation, etc. And this is uncomfortable, and they'll take this and put it out to people and say, oh my God, he doesn't agree 100% with Obama. But Obama, Romney, okay? And what was Obamacare? Before it was called Obamacare, it was called Romney Care. I mean, Jesus, it doesn't get any more direct than that, right? So, but here in 2020, not my election, Bernie Sanders versus the establishment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Either, guys, think about this. Either the establishment is going to win, somebody like Biden, and then we all go back to sleep.
Yeah.
4 years or however many years, and two terrible things come out of that. Biden has told his donors, and it's on tape, nothing, I promise you, he said, nothing will fundamentally change. Okay, that means there's no hope. There's no hope. We're not going to get Medicare for all. We're not going to get universal health care. We're not going to get the Green New Deal. We're not going to get money out of politics. We're not going to get anything. And all of the Democrats will be forced to bow their head to the Democratic president and say, oh, he's right, we shouldn't get money out of politics. He's right, we shouldn't do Medicare for all. We're gone for 4 years, maybe 8 years. And then more anger will build. Why will it build? Stagnant wages. So they say the economy's good, my asset's good. Okay, the reality is for 45 years, productivity has been sky high, but wages have stagnated, totally flat when you take inflation into account. What does that create? It creates anger. It creates frustration. So time after time, Democrats, independents, Republicans getting more and more angry because wages are stagnating, but housing is going up, healthcare is going up, all of our prices are going up. So then, after that 4 or 8 years, another right-wing populist monster is going to rise. Okay? But now, so that's the bad case scenario. On the other hand, I mean, look, November is the ultimate battle. But March 3rd, yes, that's the same day as my election, but it's also Super Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I want you to imagine this for a second. You're watching probably the Young Turks on March 3rd. Okay? And, oh my God, Bernie just won Texas. Oh my God, and going into Super Tuesday, right now, that's right. Right now, somebody in DC hit the panic button because yesterday, Bernie took the lead in Iowa. He's currently #1 in Iowa, #1 in New Hampshire, and #1 in California. Guys, why do you think they've been attacking him so much? Why do you think they've been attacking me so much? Because in this room, I can feel it. Hope is in the air. Imagine somebody, probably Anna, announces on air at around 10:45 p.m. Pacific.
Jake wins.
At 10:45 Pacific, Bernie Sanders has won the state of California. I got chills thinking about it. And at that point, it's going to start to sink in. Oh my God, Bernie Sanders is going to be president of the United States.
Yeah!
Oh my God, he doesn't take any corporate money. He doesn't take any lobbyist money. He hasn't gone to a single wine cave in his life. I know. I had dinner with him once back in 2016 when we were campaigning together. And we went to a nice restaurant in North Hollywood. And he looks at the menu, it's Italian. It's all in Italian. He can't understand it. It's a fancy place. He turns to his wife and he goes, "Do they have spaghetti and meatballs?" And Jay says, "No, Bernie, but they have chicken parm." He's like, "I'll take the chicken parm." That man wouldn't know wine came him and hit him on the head. So that man who is honest and uncorrupted and has been fighting for all of us for 45 years. Guys, we're this close.
Yeah.
Hope is real.
Yes.
Hope is real. And it's in this room, okay? And it's all across the country. And if Bernie wins, now I want you to think of something else. On that same night,
Jake wins.
Hold. There's a really important congressional election on that night. The person running is an uncorrupted progressive, a wonderful person who actually wants to change the system. Her name is Jessica Cisneros. And she's in Texas. And it's just her and Cuellar, the worst of the worst among Democrats.
Yes.
He votes with Trump 70% of the time. He takes Koch brother money, okay? And I can go on and on. He is a Republican. He only calls himself a Democrat so he can get elected in that very blue district. Democratic leadership enables that. Full well knowing he's going to vote with the Republicans an overwhelming majority of the time. He's going to vote against women's rights. He's going to vote against LGBTQ rights, as he has over and over again. He's going to vote against the working man, but he calls himself a Democrat. They're like, good enough. Let's crush Jessica Cisneros, and let's make sure Henry Cuellar wins. AOC said she's not giving money to the DCCC. You want to know what one of those son of a bitch Democratic consultants called her? They went anonymous, of course, to one of the reporters, not a Republican, a Democratic consultant, said she was a deadbeat for not giving that money. How unbelievably racist is that, okay? So now, why would AOC give money to a group that is trying to defeat progressives? And that enables fake Democrats, like, for example, Jeff Van Drew. Until a couple of weeks ago, the DCCC was like, Jeff Van Drew, wonderful! I love the way he votes for Trump. I love how he votes for the Republicans every time. But he calls himself a Democrat, so we love Jeff Van Drew. And then he switches over and goes, I'm going to vote the same exact way, but now I'm calling myself a Republican. Can you believe Jeff Van Drew? Right? No, you guys enabled it. So of course you don't give money to the DCCC in a circumstance like that. If you treat progressives equally, that's a different story, right? So, but Jessica's got a race on March 3rd. It's in Texas, okay? If she wins and she beats Cuellar, oh my God, guys, hope is real.
Yes.
Hope is real, okay? Because that means not only is Jessica going to win, but a lot of Justice Democrats are going to win. A lot of them are going to win. Money is not going to beat us anymore. We've got people, okay? And so imagine, oh my God, Jessica's won, Bernie's winning, then you hear the announcement, etc. But there's one other race, okay? And that's my race. I think this is going to be my campaign poster. Guys, I'm a little different. I don't think you guys know that. I'm a little different. And I'm different in a couple of ways. One, yeah, they see my angry side. But you know, everybody who knows me in personal life, and almost all of you, because we've all volunteered together, canvassed together, etc. You know, I'm actually in real life is a very happy-go-lucky guy. Okay? I almost never get angry, etc. So why am I angry on air, and why is that the side that everybody sees? Because I hate injustice. I hate it. I can't stand it. It drives me crazy. So if somebody tells me to do something that isn't right, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I don't agree. So when somebody wins a seat, the first thing that happens is usually Nancy Pelosi will call them if they're a Democrat. I'm serious. That's how it works. And then what they do is they tell you how it's going to work. You're going to have to give money to the DCCC, and if you want a committee assignment, you're going to have to do this, and you're going to have to do this, and you're going to have to kiss the ring, okay? And you're going to have to follow the rules. Now, do any of you think I'm going to follow the rules? No! All right, what I'm going to do on the floor of the House is every time we have a vote, I'm going to show the donors. Okay? So, Republicans, you want to vote on a bill? Great! Can't wait to show your donors. Come on, let's have a vote. Let's have a vote. Let's have a debate. Let's have a discussion. But Democrats, you want to defend the drug companies while you're pretending to fight them? I'm going to show your donors.
Yes.
Oh, so you think it's rude for me to show that Stephanie Murphy has taken $360,000 from the healthcare industry and says that we should not negotiate drug prices with the drug companies?
Wow.
Sorry, I think it's way more rude of her to take the money
That's evil.
and screw over her voters and voters all across the country who has to pay those exorbitant drug prices because she took bribes.
Woo!
So they say, oh, Jake, you can't say that. If you win, you'll be inside the club, and you can't say that inside the club. I don't give a damn. You know who had a great line about this? It was actually Jessica Cisneros. I was talking to her and I said, hey, look, they're going to give you the speech if you win. Get ready. I think you have a great chance of winning, but they're going to try to co-opt you, and I want to make sure that I tell you about that because I've lived it, I've seen it happen to others, etc. And I said, well, you're going to stand strong, right? And she said, look, Cenk, she's a lawyer, and she came from a very, working class background. She worked her way up, became a lawyer, and worked for others and for civil rights and for human rights. And she said, Cenk, I am an advocate by profession, okay? And there's only one set of folks that I'm going to advocate for, and that's my voters, okay? And I couldn't agree more. So my job is not to represent corporate donors or lobbyists or the Democratic Party or its leadership. My job is to represent my voters. So, look, if I win, I do not.
No, yeah.
We're not going to end corruption overnight. We're not overnight, okay? But what we are going to do is we're going to name it overnight, okay? And we're going to name it again and again and again. And so, and you know what's going to happen when we do that? In fact, the whole country agrees with us. I've been out canvassing week after week after week. I've knocked on hundreds of doors. I've never met one voter who say that they think that corporate donors should rule over us and that corporate donors actually have our best interests in mind. Everybody knows it's corruption. All you got to do is call it out. Call it out by its name. And when you call it out, it will force the media to talk about it. The minute that I do, the first thing they're going to say is, Cenk is rude, Cenk is unacceptable, etc. But you know what voters are going to hear? Wait, why is he rude? Why is he unacceptable? Oh, he's saying when ExxonMobil gives money, it's a bribe. Wait a minute, that's true. Wait a minute, that's true. And you know what that's going to do? It's going to create a spark. And it's going to create a ripple effect across the country. So if Bernie Sanders is president, and we got a whole slew of Justice Democrats, second round is already in, right? And then you got me in. And there ain't no way in the world they can control me. Right? And every single day on the floor of the House, I'm showing them bribe after bribe after bribe, and I'm calling out, and you know what I'm going to do? Look, one of the things I can't wait to do that's going to drive them crazy. You actually are allowed in the House of Representatives. Wow. You're not used to that, right? You never see regular humans. But you know what? You remember the first regular humans. So, you remember the first thing AOC did was to sit in Pelosi's office. That was on day one. Okay? Super proud. That her team called me the night before and said, Cenk, what do you think? I think we're going to do it. Do you think we should? They just asked me a little piece of advice, and it's not determinative, but it's nice of them to call and ask, right? And I said, oh, please do it. You got to do it. You got to do it, right? And she did. She had the courage to do it. But you notice that there was the Sunrise Movement, and they're actually citizens. Well, how the hell did they get in there? The reality is, anybody can go into the House. And so I'm going to do something that is going to absolutely drive them nuts. I'm going to invite all of you in. Imagine when you're giving those speeches, not nobody pays attention because they're all fake talking points and they get up there, except for O'Connor and a couple of others. Right? They just spew their talking points, they say it for the camera, they make ads out of it, no one cares, it's all fake, right? But imagine if every time they spoke, the rafters were filled with people. And we booed and we cheered and we reacted. Okay, I guarantee you, man, that we're gonna break a couple of gavels, right? And they're gonna say, Jake, you're not allowed to bring people in. And by the end, I swear to you, I predicted ahead of time. You know how much I love predictions. By the end, they will ban you from the building. Okay, because they can't stand actual voters. It drives them crazy, right? That's why I get under their skin. That's why the Justice Democrats get under their skin, and that's why Bernie gets under their skin, okay? So, but you know what? I'm going to do one chant here to drive Ben. Because it's called the House of Representatives. You know whose house it is?
Our house!
Whose house?
Our house!
Whose house?
Our house!
We're going to go to the house and we're going to do that same exact chant from inside the building. And lastly, guys, yeah, so I got the anger at the righteous anger at the injustice, etc., and things that are untrue. But the other emotion that I have that, you know, Anna had talked about a little bit before, she said, how are you always so optimistic, right? And some of you know that side of me and others might not, but I am. And I think I'm lucky, but I've seen it in my life. I've seen that hope works. I mean, we started in my living room with no money. It was a one-bedroom apartment, nothing. We had nothing. And now you know how many lifetime views we have? 12 billion lifetime views.
Woo!
Okay, so what we did was we reached people. We reached people over and over and over again. And so I've had, you know what happens? And it happened at the debate the other night. A couple of guys come up. In fact, it's two different groups came up. I used to be a Republican. We both were Republicans. You flipped us. Okay, you flipped us. You flipped us. You flipped us. Because the reality is, it works. If you try, it works. So now we have a very large media company that I wish was, you know, better off financially. But we don't have great cars. But we reach 200 to 250 million people every month. Okay?
Woo!
So that's a hell of a thing. So, and when I started with Just Democrats with other wonderful people, including Bernie staffers, I asked the reporters I knew, how many people do you think were to get into Congress? They said 1. If you're lucky, maybe some random guy will get in, right? It's 0 or 1. So right now we have 7. And a lot more on the way, okay? When I started Wolfpack, how many states do you think are going to pass our resolution? Everybody says 0. You guys don't know what you're doing. It's a bunch of citizens. They've never worked in politics. You have no chance at all. 5 states, including the state of California. Hope is real. Hope is real. So I'll tell you right now, if all those things happen, and they are so close to happening, 2020 is everything. In fact, the next 2 months is everything. The next 2 months is everything. Super Tuesday is March 3rd. Cisneros' election is March 3rd. My election is March 3rd. If we all win that night, hope is going to get ignited across the country. It isn't going to be just the folks in this room. We're the spark, but the flame goes all across the country. And when it does, then everything is possible. Is it possible to get a constitutional amendment to get money out of politics? Yes! Yes! It's possible! Yes! You know, a lot of people say Medicare for all is not realistic, it's not going to happen. A lot of the Democrats aren't going to vote for it. I'm telling you, I guarantee it, guys. We're going to get Medicare for all.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. And on that day, I swear, please remember today on that day. Remember that you were here, that you made that happen. If it wasn't for you, none of this happens, okay? But on that day, remember today. And we are going to get that day, I swear to you. I've seen it happen before. They call it miracles. I've seen those miracles happen. It's real. We're going to pass Green New Deal. We're going to pass all of it. And the way, and it's not just blind hope. you build a plan, and the plan we have now, and earlier we talked about our plan for the campaign. Catherine, my campaign manager, went through that plan with you guys. That plan is real, and that leads to hope, and it leads to bills. So I'll end on this.
Wait, before you end, I just want to remind you of one thing. On the day of the election when Donald Trump won, I had a meltdown on TYT that it's like on all the progressive sites.
Yes.
And I looked at you and I said, it's over. And you remember what you said to me? You said, no, it's not over. He said, now, Ida, we fight.
Yes!